Hey guys, it's GameFace and welcome back to another FIFA 17 video. Today I'm going to be talking specifically about total club management. Now in my two previous videos, I kind of touched on it slightly, in particular in the first video that I did on this, but basically I'm going to be talking about what exactly is total club management and the things that EA have decided to implement into this game, this FIFA that's coming out. Obviously, as I mentioned in the previous two videos about FIFA 17, I can't show you any pictures or videos, but what I can do is talk about it, and I'm going to be giving you some examples of objectives and things like that. But before we get into things, if we could go ahead and hit 35 likes on this video, that'd be really appreciated. Also, if you haven't already, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well for more FIFA 17 videos very shortly. Now this is based on the beta, so things could change, and also apologies about the screenshots that you're seeing. You might well have seen them, in fact most of you probably will have, but I can't really show you anything else from the beta. So without further ado, let's crack on. Basically, total club management is something that they've added into FIFA 17 to kind of make it seem like they're doing a lot with career mode, when in reality, we all know they're not really doing too much with it. So they've kind of given it all the hype, but in reality, basically it's just objectives. And there's 5 different objectives that every single club has, and that's youth development, brand exposure, financial, domestic success, and then continental success. Now these 5 objectives, every single club has, and basically they get ranked 1 to 5 of importance. So 1 being critical, 2 high, 3 medium, 4 low, and 5 very low. And basically it depends on how much they value that objective. So for example, some will be short-term objectives, others will be long-term objectives. And by long-term, I mean it could be 2 seasons, 3 seasons, or 4 seasons. I don't think they actually go any further than 4 seasons. So they get ranked in importance, and you can have a variety of different objectives within those sub-objectives, if that makes sense. So within youth development, it might be grow a player by 5 overalls and get him playing 10 games or something like that within a season. So that is kind of an example of what an objective might be like. But basically the example I've got here is for Real Madrid. Now, for example, with Real Madrid, their youth development, they rank that as high. So that is given the number 2, and basically the specific objective that you get with it is within 2 seasons grow 3 youth players by at least 10 overall, and they've got to then feature in at least 20 matches. Now that can be off the bench or from the starting 11, and that's got to be across 2 seasons as well. You can obviously do it quicker than that, but you've got 2 seasons to manage to do it. So that's 3 different players by 10 overall and play them in at least 20 games. So that is quite a difficult one, I think, in my opinion. You've got to grow them by 10 overall across the 2 seasons, so, you know, you get a little bit of time, but it's obviously going to be quite a tricky one, but they value that highly, so they're wanting to do that one. And basically, if you don't do, like, the high and the critical objectives, if you don't meet those, then you've got a chance that you're going to be possibly sacked. So that is the way that they're doing it. If you don't meet the medium objective, then maybe that's not quite as bad as it would be, and it kind of goes like that, as you'd probably expect. So moving on to the next one, and that is brand exposure, and they've ranked that one as critical for Real Madrid. They want you to earn 306 million, very specific amount, from media over 3 seasons. Now this means, I'm assuming, from TV deals and that sort of thing, which you kind of don't have any say in, so I'm not really too sure how you affect that. We've kind of, on the feedback of the FIFA 17 beta, we've kind of told them, you know, how can we affect this? How can we actually get more money from the media? We're assuming that you just do it by winning more matches or getting in the Champions League, that sort of thing, and that is your only way of really affecting it. But we're not 100% sure yet how that will work, so that's, again, across 3 seasons, and to be honest, that is one that you'd probably meet quite easily. I think I've met that one quite comfortably after a year or 2, so it's not particularly difficult, that. The next one for Real Madrid, again, this is just an example. I'll give you an example with a slightly different club in a second. Real Madrid's financial objective is low, and basically the only actual objective you get for this is to transfer 2 star players. So you've just got to sign 2 star players that go straight into your squad, basically. So that is the only one for financial. They're not really bothered how much money you spend, hence why it's a low target and low objective. Then you've got domestic success. That is critical to Real Madrid. They want you to win the league and the Copa of España. And then their continental success, they have a short-term and a long-term one here. So basically the short-term one is to reach the Champions League final, and then the long-term one is to win the Champions League, and that is, you have 3 seasons to win the Champions League, basically. So you get a little bit of time, which is quite good, and it's not like immediate, so you don't have to do it that year winning the Champions League with Real Madrid, but they kind of give you a little bit of time. 3 seasons is quite a long time to try and win the Champions League. I think that's quite a fair one. Again, they rank that as critical. So basically these objectives get ranked, and the ones that you do that are critical, you're more likely to keep your job at the end of the season when they do the performance review, and the ones that are low, if you don't do those, then, you know, it's kind of not as important, basically, and it shouldn't really affect your job security at the end of it. And to kind of change things a little bit, we're going to give you an example, not with Real Madrid, so we're going to go with Leeds, one of the teams that I've started with on the FIFA 17 beta, and obviously one of the career mode teams I'm doing at the moment. And basically their youth development is high, rather like Real Madrid's. As you'd expect with Leeds, they want to develop loads of young players. However, their actual objective is slightly different to Real Madrid's. They want you to make 1.7 million from a youth player sales, and that is what they want you to do within the first season. And then they also want you to sign 3 youth academy defenders as well. So that is another thing that they want you to do. They want you to look for specific defenders, and they want you to sign 3 of them in the first season. So it's stuff like that which is slightly different for each club depending on what clubs you're joining, and the objectives are very specific to the club, which is good to see. They've done that right, which is one of not many things, to be honest, that they've done right on the FIFA 17 beta. And we've also got, for example, brand exposure for Leeds. That's ranked as medium. They want you to sign 1 crucial midfield player for your team, and that, again, you have 1 season to sign 1 crucial first team player that is a midfielder. So again, it's quite specific, which is quite nice to see, but not particularly difficult. So again, it can be achieved quite easily, most of these. Financial for Leeds is quite high, so they want you to keep salary growth under 20%. Quite a complicated one. It's not a very simple one, that one, but you've got to make sure that they don't grow the salary across that season by more than 20%. So a little bit of a tough one if you have quite demanding players, and it might force you to have to sell some of them, because that is a high objective and means if you don't meet it, you might well get sacked. But it's a bit of a strange one. That is maybe one that kind of highlights total club management more than any of them, to be honest. The fact that you have to control how much money you're giving to the player. It's quite good, that one. One of my favourites, to be honest, because it's kind of a little bit different to all the other ones. And then we've also got domestic success as well. That one is ranked as high, so not critical like Real Madrid, obviously, but their initial one for the short-term objective is that you finish mid-table, and then you get the round of 32 for the FA Cup. If you get that far, then you meet it, and if you finish mid-table in the first season, then you meet that objective. However, they've also got a long-term one as well, and that is within 2 seasons, you've got to fight for promotion with Leeds. So kind of as you'd expect, really, they give you 2 seasons, make sure that you're up there in promotion, and assuming they base that on being around the promotion places. It doesn't actually say get in the playoffs, but it says fight for promotion, so maybe that kind of insinuates that you've got to be in the playoffs. It's not very clear, to be honest, and hopefully they clear that up before the full game. On to the final one for Leeds, and that is continental success, and the rank that is very low, and in fact there is no objective for that for Leeds, no continental success or anything like that, as you probably expect, because they can't get into the Champions League. But that is basically it. I've given you those 2 examples, one for Real Madrid, one for Leeds, just so you kind of get an idea of what total club management is on FIFA 17. If you have any more questions about it in the comments below, then just let me know, and I'll obviously answer and read and reply as usual. And that is pretty much everything for this video. If we could go ahead and hit 35 likes on this video, that'd be absolutely fantastic. And also, if you haven't hit the subscribe button as well, that'd be really appreciated. I'm going to be doing a Liverpool and Dortmund career mode on FIFA 17 to begin with. So if you're looking forward to that, then obviously subscribe and stick around. If you want me to do some more FIFA 17 videos about what's on the beta or anything else that I've not covered already, let me know in the comments below as well, and I will do that quite happily. That is it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.